written in words. The best way to compare this number is to make sure you write the number written in word to write it in numeric. For example, under A, it's 23,063. You must write that in numeric so that you can compare that with 210,000. You must write that in numeric to compare it to 210,000. So the column in the middle there, it should be provided or reserved for the sign that you are going to put. Remember, the crocodile must eat what is big. Now we have to move to page 16, whereby number 4 is there. We need to complete the following table by rounding off the numbers. You need to round off these numbers. The first number is 3,788. You must round that number to the nearest 10. Remember that 10 is also D. You have to round off also the same number to the nearest 100. 100 is written in numeric, so you need to also understand that that 100 is also H, capital H. The nearest 1,000 and the nearest 10,000 is the same. And if you look at the first number, which is 3,788, rounded to the nearest 10,000, I have done that example for you. I've done that example for you on the chalkboard. So remember, somewhere you need to put a 0, and then you just round off. Boys and girls, I hope you are going to complete your work. If you do not understand, ask your teacher. If you do not understand, ask your parents to help you. I hope you make sure you get your work in a correct manner. Let us not forget to sanitize our hands. Make sure your hand is sanitized and keep the social distance by stretching. And I thank you and goodbye.
Hi everyone, I'm Shashi. And Simon says don't touch your face, your eyes, your nose, and your mouth unless your hands are super clean. Bye!
Starting today with a new topic, which is menstruation. Menstruation. And this is about measurements. So you were actually busy with this for a long time in mathematics, working with grams, milligrams, kilograms, centimeters, and meters. And this is in your textbook now on page 493. Today we're doing an introduction then on mensuration. Now, usually we measure in meters length, and in kilograms you measure mass, and seconds for time. So that's the different units. I would like you to look on page 493. There they're giving us larger and smaller names for these measurements here. So the large ones is trillion, billion, million, thousand, hundred, 10. And then you also have the small ones, tenth, hundredth, thousandth, millionth, billionth, trillionth. And those are the prefixes that they also use there. Look there that a trillionth is a pico and a billionth is a nano. And they're also using this a lot with computers nowadays. On page 494, the large numbers is kilo, mega, giga, tera. And then the small values, milli, micro, nano, pico. Now, the conversions you've learned already in primary school, but they still remain very, very important. So here we have millimeters, centimeters, meters then, and then kilometers. And you know that, that there's a 10 millimeters is a centimeter, and 100 centimeters is a meter, and 1,000 meters is a kilometers. We really should know that by now and don't have problems with that. So the same thing work with kilograms here, and then we know that, or actually we can perhaps put the grams here, and then here the kilograms, then 1,000 grams is a kilogram, and then we know again that 1,000 kilograms is a ton, that we also work with that then there. If we work with area, this is now a bit larger numbers, which you should also know. Now here we have square meters, square centimeters, and then hectares here. Now we know that 100 centimeters is 1 meter, but that means that 10,000, 100 by 100, 10,000 square centimeters is 1 square meter. And the same thing here, 10,000 square meters is 1 hectare, and you need to know those conversions there. And then the same when we work with volume. We're going to do a lot of work on perimeter, area, and volume. And then we have cubic millimeters. Now, you know that there's 10 millimeters in a centimeter. So that means now here in a cubic centimeters, it will be 10 by 10 by 10, which is 1,000 cubic millimeters, which is 1 cubic centimeter. And then to change this now again to cubic meters, there's 100 centimeters. So now it's 100 times 100 times 100, which is actually 1 million. 6 zeros, cubic centimeters, which forms 1 cubic meter. Okay, on page 495, there you've got volume and capacity. Another formula that we're going to use a lot is that 1 liter is 1,000 cubic centimeters. So there's also a lot of questions on using that one there. We spoke now about the hectare, 1 hectare, which is 10,000 square meters. These are formulas that you'll have to know out of your head. And then the ton. So now we're going to try now 1. Which is the first exercise just on conversions. So you're going to use the info that we've looked at now. Change the following to the required units. The first one says 8 kilometers to meters, and that is then 8,000 meters. It's important to write the unit as well there. Number B, 5.6 centimeters in millimeters, 56 millimeters. Number C, 2 meters, 89 centimeters, just centimeters, so it will be 289 centimeters. This is really very easy. Number D, 7.9 square meters in square centimeters. So now I'm going to multiply with that 10,000 to change it to square centimeters. Number E, 3.5 liters in centiliters. You multiply with 100 centiliters. It's not a unit that we use often, but you can do that. Then square meters into square millimeters. Square meters into square millimeters, and that's then 65 square millimeters. So we'll again divide with, or multiply this time with 10,000. Number G, square cubic meters into cubic centimeters. So that is then 80,000 cubic centimeters. And number H, the hectares there, it's 0.7 hectares. You multiply with 10,000 square meters there. Number I, in liters, that's the one that we had. You divide with 1,000 liters. And then the last one, tons to grams, and I will multiply with 1,000. No, with 6 zeros then there, 6 zeros. Okay, then the next thing that we're looking at is time. And usually you think this is very easy. We know 1 hour is 30 minutes. And we know 1 minute is 60 minutes, 60 seconds. And then what's also important is that 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. You will use that. Remember, you cannot just do calculations on time on your calculator, except if you set your calculator for that. So we have to use this fact. Then we get 12-hour clock time, which we can write like this, 0.15, and then we can say AM or PM in the morning or the afternoon. But then this is the 24-hour clock that we're using. No H's there. It must be that semicolon that you will use for time. Okay, so now we're looking at try now 2. And that's just conversions with time. So still a very easy exercise there. Changing hours to minutes. So that is just 5 hours. And now how do I change the 0.4 hours to minute? You multiply 0.4 times 60. And that's how you get 24 minutes, changing it. Number B, 4 hours and 12 minutes is then 4. And how do I change now the 12 minutes to hours? It's 12 out of 60, which is 0.2 hours. And those are the important conversions that we have to make. Then number C, milliseconds into hours. So that is then 2.89 times 10 to the power of 4. So we have to divide it with that 3,600. Then 3 hours in seconds in standard form. So 3 hours in seconds is then times 3,600. And then to change it to standard form, it will be 1.08 times 10 to the power of 4. Number E, 50,000 hours in years and days. Now, if I have 50,000 hours, how am I going to change this to years? I'm first going to divide it by 24 to change it to a day. And then I have to multiply it with 3.25 to change it into years. And my answer is 5 years and 28 days. Making those changes. And then number F, minutes in years. Again, How will you change minutes to years? You'll have to, it is 525,600. Now, how do I change this now into years? Minutes means I divide by 60 to change it to hours. There's 24 hours in a day, and there is 365.25 days in a year, and this answer is then 1 year. But that's how we do those conversions. But thank you, grade 11. With our new topic, mensuration. And today we continue with time. We're specifically looking then at sums with time, mensuration. So in the first place, we look at the 12-hour clock and the 24-hour clock. And we said the 12-hour clock, we can say 8:15 a.m., which means this is in the morning. If it's in the evening, we would say 20:15 p.m., past midday. On the other hand, the 24-hour clock is given in times like this. So you use that semicolon, no H's there. That's how we calculate and write then the different times. Right, so we start then today with try now 3 on page 498. This is quite an easy exercise here. Give the equivalent time on a 24-hour clock. So the first one is 9:30 a.m. and it will just look like this then on the 24-hour clock. Number B, 8:30 p.m. So now it becomes 20:30 on the 24-hour clock. You add those 12 hours to get the answer. Number C, 6:42 a.m. So it will be 06:42 a.m. is in the morning. So it will just look like that. And then the last one, number D. And this one is then 2:37 p.m. So I add 12 hours there, and that will then be 14:37. 14:37. This was question A, question 2, or question 1, question 2. Now we have to give it in the 12-hour clock. So the first one is 0.2 a.m. Not 0.2, 0.2 a.m. That means it's in the morning. 17:42. So now I subtract the 12 hours, and that will then be 05:42, and we have to write p.m., past midday. Then 8:52 a.m. in the morning, and then 21:43, I subtract the 12 hours there, and it is then 9:43 p.m. So this is what is very important to add every time. Right. Now we're going to do try now 4. So try now 4, page 499. So this is about time, about elapsed time, the time between two events. Find the elapsed time between 3:25 and 15:13 hours on the same day. So there you will just subtract the two, 15:30 minus 0325. And this is now where we need to remember that there's only 60 minutes in an hour. So it will then be 60, this will be 73. Then you can subtract the 2. You cannot just do it on the calculator. And the length here will be 11 hours and 48 minutes. Number B, 11:33 a.m. and then 5:43 p.m. So you have to change the 5:43 to 17:43, then minus the 11:33, and then we can easily subtract it, and it is then 6 hours and 10 minutes. That's the elapsed time. Number C, 20:30 and 9:30 the next day. So that means that this is 20:30 in the evening, and then 9:30 the next day means that there has passed 12 hours then from there, that 9:30. So what is the elapsed time? So we need to know that at 24 hours it's midnight. So actually it will be 24 hours minus that 20:30, and then you will add the 9 hours and 30 minutes of the next day, and that gives you 13 hours, because at midnight this day is over. The day is over then there. Number D, 10:45 a.m., 10:45 a.m. in the morning, and then 7:53 a.m. on the next day. So again, we'll first subtract here midnight to find out how much time elapsed before midnight, and then you add the 7:53 of the next day, and this gives us then 21 hours and 8 minutes. So first you have to find out in that previous day what time elapsed there. Question 2. A car left Windhoek at 23:20, close to midnight, on December the 18th, and arrived in Swakop at 2:40 on the 19th, on the next day. So again, we'll start here with 24 hours and first find out how much time was already in this day then there. Remember, it's then 60 that you will subtract there, so that gives you 40 minutes on the previous day. And this 2 hours and 40 minutes plus that 40 minutes, we'll add it there. This gives you 80. But now there's no such time, so that is 3 hours and 20 minutes. 3 hours and 20 minutes, the elapsed time between the two. Number 3, on November the 21st at Cabo de Hornos, the sun rises at 4:39. The sun sets 17 hours and 36 minutes later. Write down the time when the sun sets. So later means we'll have to add this, because this is the time then that we have there. So this gives you 75, 21, and then there's another hour involved there, so it's 22. Remember, we want the time now that the sun sets, not elapsed time, and 15 that we have there. That's then the elapsed time there. Question 4, or not the elapsed time, the specific time. So we have to read the question. Number 4 is a table. It's flights in hours and minutes of Air Namibia's schedule, time of departure, time of arrival, and you have to find out how long is that the length of the flight every time. So we're just going to subtract the two from each other. So the first one there is 3 hours, 40 minutes. Remember, 60 minutes in an hour. The next one, 12:15 p.m. and then 3:30 p.m. You have to change that one to 15 p.m. So that is then 18 hours and 30 minutes. Question C, 10:45 and then 7:32 p.m. Again, I changed that to 24-hour clock, and that is then 8 hours and 47 minutes. And number D, 8:45 and then 7:30 the next day. So you'll have to change the 7:30 to plus 12, which is 19:30, and then subtract the 2. So it's 22 hours and 45 minutes. 22 hours and 45 minutes. Question 5. Calculate the actual length of time of each journey for each one. Robert leaves Windhoek at 6:45. And he arrived in Oshakati at 15:15. So it will be that 15:15 minus the time that he left. Now again, just remember, we have to borrow an hour here. So that makes it 75 there. So if you subtract now there, 14 minus 6, so it's the length. So it's 8 hours and 30 minutes. Make sure that you read the question. Do they ask elapsed time or specific time? Janet left Keetmans at 3 a.m. and arrived in Katima at 9:30 p.m. So we add for 9:30 plus 12, so it's 21:30 that she arrives in Katima Mulilo. How long did it take her? So this is then 30 minutes and 18 hours. And the last one, number C, Lazarus left Tsumeb at 9:12, and he arrived at Swakop at 3:05 p.m. So add 12 there, then it is 15:05. 15:05. Calculate the time. So now we can subtract it there. This gives us 3. Again, we'll have to borrow an hour here. So this is then 65 minutes that you have there. So that's 5. 14 times 9 is 5 hours and 53 minutes. So grade 11s, this is very easy, working then with mensuration, with the different time. This is basic background knowledge. From here, we're going to go over to the shapes now.
Insurance is the best safety net you can buy yourself. It is something good you do for yourself, because should anything happen to any of your assets, you will be okay. Luckily, it also doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. More affordable, yet still reliable options are available in Namibia. The right insurer will get you financially prepared for accidents or emergencies with insurance for your phone, car, buildings, or your business. Let the Good Deal Namibia help you stretch your dollar by directing you to the one insurer that promises decreased premiums the longer you are insured. For a quote, simply SMS INSURE to 555 and we will call you back.
Win free airtime with #LearnOn1. Share your comments on the lessons. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.